everybody.
Hello, indeed.
Are we rolling?
We are perhaps.
Okay.
I believe we are rolling.
I think it's time for a little sip of coffee.
I know it's time for you to learn the job seeker functionality in LinkedIn.
Now, let me tell you something. This is recently one of my favorite parts of LinkedIn. I've just kind of discovered how this works on a much bigger scale, and I've used some of these techniques that I'm about to show you, and they worked. They landed me a job.
And believe it or not, Andros is an amazing testimonial of the process that he's about to teach.
That's right. That's right. So if you are looking for a job, this is definitely the module for you. I'm glad that you're here. And I want to start off by saying that this module is going to be in two parts. Part one is going to be what you do before your job seeking abilities, and then the part two will actually be the actual looking for a job. So thank you for joining us, LinkedIn Mastery Course, the Job Seeker Edition. Let us go right into it. So this is LinkedIn Fundamentals for Job Seekers and Business Owners, but we're going to focus on job seekers in this module. So a couple of things, we've covered this before, but just it bears repeating.
So why do we need LinkedIn's job seeker functionality to find a job? Why can't we just find a job on monster.com, which is, I'm sure, thriving these days, or just go to a classic headhunter?
That's a great question. Why is that?
Well, the reason is that if you look at your screen right now, you'll see that 94%, how many? 94%.
What? I almost spit out my coffee right there.
94% of recruiters are now using LinkedIn to vet job candidates, and 48% are using it exclusively for their candidate outreach.
That's right. That's right. And there are over 6.5 million active job listings available on LinkedIn, and that is actually growing. And over 75% of the people who recently changed jobs used LinkedIn in their career decision.
And we like to have fun here, and we like to joke around. But this, I mean, legitimately, LinkedIn is the tool. If you want to find a job, and if you're serious about changing your career path, changing what your industry you're in, this tool is the catalyst to make that change happen.
But not only that, if you think about it, those HR people are not going to be going over one profile after another and one resume after another and like weeding this person out and weeding that person out. They don't have time for that. So they're going to rely on LinkedIn's job seeking algorithm to bring them the best candidates.
So would it be useful to know how to exploit that algorithm for your personal gain?
Yeah, it's always good to exploit an algorithm for your own personal gain, whether it's in relationships or life or money or anything that you want to do. Dog walking.
Is there an algorithm for that?
There is.
You're absolutely right.
Somewhere. Someone's inventing one.
Poker. There's an algorithm for that.
Well, that's a whole other game. So here we are. We have the different types of LinkedIn. And what we're going to be focusing on is the Accelerate Your Career. This is going to be the job seeker part of LinkedIn.
If you've ever wanted a briefcase like that, man, keep watching.
Oh my gosh. Do I ever. And the LinkedIn job seeker is $29.99 or $29 a month.
$29.99 a month.
And totally worth it if you get another job. And it comes with a bunch of extra features. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, this is what you do before you start your job search. Number one, start with your personal brand. Your profile, and we showed you this in Module 1, your profile is telling a story. And remember, when someone is hiring you, they're not necessarily hiring your skill sets. They're also hiring the story you come along with. The more interesting and valuable you are as an employee, the more they're likely to hire you. So if you come in and you're kind of boring and you don't have anything to offer socially, the chances are smaller that they're going to want to hire you. Because remember, these people are going to want to see you day after day.
And in 2017, 2018, going forward, all companies and all people need to think of themselves as media entities. So even if you're looking for a job, you need to think of yourself as a media entity. Your personal brand is a media company, essentially.
So you're a reality television star first. So think about yourself like if you were on the island. And remember, if you're a job seeker, you're going to get voted off the island if you're not the most interesting, like fascinating person. Boring people get voted off the island.
Now, what's interesting is I was actually speaking to somebody about this recently, and they had brought up to me that actually Paris Hilton was one of the first people to really adopt this whole mentality of personal branding.
That's right.
In the early 2000s. And
because remember that question, what does she do? What does Paris Hilton do? What do the Kardashians do? Well, they're personalities.
They're TV stars.
You have to adopt that. So find what's interesting and start with your personal brand. And as we said in Module 1 with the profile module, developing your personal brand, your story, not a place to be humble. That's where you tell your story.
Now, just like in business, as a job seeker, when you create content and you position yourself as an expert, you're also positioning yourself as a leader in that specific skill.
That's right.
So when a hiring manager or whoever's hiring you comes along and finds you, they're gonna look at you. They're gonna see that you're creating content on a regular basis around topics that matter to their company, and they're gonna see you in a different light than your competition. So this is giving you an edge up by being this kind of media company.
In fact, I'm going to show you in a little bit how to leverage that in the second part of this course. This particular module.
Specifically staying on LinkedIn.
That's right.
Yeah.
And how you can actually leverage what you know in a way that puts you in the lead as a thought leader and gives you a better opportunity. So the first thing you're going to want to do is start with your personal brand. Next thing is look for opportunities on Glassdoor. Now, we covered this a little bit. We covered this a lot in Module 1. But just to go over it again, if you go to glassdoor.com, look for your ideal job, and then you copy the job description. And this is just a summary. I would go back to Module 1 and look this over again when creating your LinkedIn profile. But you look for your ideal job on Glassdoor, find it with the very best company, copy the job description, and put it into your skill set. I mean, make sure that you don't copy it verbatim. You have to tweak it so it sounds a little more natural.
You're not copying and pasting.
But remember,
you could copy this and paste it to a Word document and then relanguage it in your own, in your own verbiage. But we want you to essentially take what these companies put tens of thousands of dollars into creating. They spend a lot of money creating these job descriptions.
That's right.
So we want to leverage what they've already spent their money on, and we want to make our profiles match what they're looking at.
Stand on the shoulders of giants.
That is correct.
What you want to do is, because the HR person's job is to make sure that they write compelling job interviews so they get the most compelling candidates, you just take that whole body of knowledge and just integrate it into your own thing.
In NLP, they call this modeling excellence. That's all we're doing here is we're modeling what's already been created.
So copy the job descriptions, refine it, don't copy and paste, and place it into your job history, including parts of your job history that may not seem relevant now. One of the biggest questions we get in all of this is probably the biggest question, is what if what I did doesn't make any sense to what I do right now? I'm telling you, you have to find a way to make it relevant. You have to find it congruent.
Congruent. I like that.
I'm going to make up my own words here, man.
Congruent is a good one.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Robert Greene wrote a book called Mastery. And in that book, he talks about the 10,000 hours it takes to master something. And it doesn't have to be a body of knowledge that you copy from someone else. It could be a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you meld it together and make your own sense of mastery. So what you want to do is you want to say, well, because I did all of this stuff that may not seem relevant to today's job market, you can take that whole body of knowledge and make it relevant. That is entirely up to you. It's your idea to like how you want to spin that. Because remember, at the end of the day, resume is just French for bullshit.
Well, remember this. If our program is going to be most effective for you, you need to pick the specific type of job you're looking for.
That's right.
And we want to frame our entire profile around that specific job. Because that's what we're teaching here. We're teaching you how to create a narrative around one goal, one final target. So I always use the example, if you want to be an internet marketer, your whole profile, your work history, your job history needs to reflect skills that can be relevant to internet marketing. Now, if I worked as a cashier when I was 18 to 20 years old or something like that, I could still include that, but I need to tie it into the skills that are relevant, maybe customer service, because that can be relevant for any type of industry, maybe things like that. So, really, we are creating a narrative around this. So don't, a lot of people ask us whether they're in business or looking for a job, can I target two at once? And I will tell them always the same thing. You can do whatever you want, but the more you try to reach everybody and speak to everybody, the less
same thing as marketing.
The less the message is going to land.
Right.
So the more people you try to reach, the less it actually lands with. The less effective it's actually going to be.
And this is why in step 2 we say go to Glassdoor, find your ideal job. Your absolute ideal job. Even if you think you cannot do it, find it and then just do it. And if you don't have the skills to do it, that doesn't matter because we're going to show you how to get around that in just a second.
Yeah, get the skills.
All right. So next thing, look for the top skills employers are looking for. Now, one of the things that LinkedIn does every year is they release this little PowerPoint presentation. Well, it's actually on SlideShare. And SlideShare is something that we're going to get into in a little bit. But this is every year, it's the top skills that can get you hired today and tomorrow. And they do this every single year for free. It's just part of it. So this is in 2016 on LinkedIn Global, the top jobs that can get you hired. And number 1, cloud distributed computing. You know, sounds very brainy, but it's actually easier than you might imagine. Statistical analysis and data mining. Data mining is, of course, the whole reason that Facebook makes money. Web architecture and development framework, middleware and integration software, and so on and so forth. These are the top jobs that people...
A lot of tech.
A lot of tech. See this right here? SEO and SEM marketing. If you have no skills whatsoever, this job is something you can do. So take it from me.
It's got the shortest learning curve.
That's true.
When you're getting into the programming and things like that, that's a whole nother language. So
now, let's say you want to get out of America or just go to another country in general. They also give you the top skills in different countries. So in Australia, you can see that SEO and SEM is actually the number 2 search jobs. And a lot of these countries, when they hire people, they'll hire people outside of the country. So you could, if you are planning on just going and leaving the country altogether and going to another country, apply for another job in a different country. Why not? Look at what's going on in Brazil. Here's mobile development. And guess what? Especially if you speak English, and you must, because you understand what I'm saying for the most part, unless I'm making up my own words, then all of these companies usually speak English. So look at what's going on. Mobile development, and a lot of tech. Yeah. So, you know, you gotta beef up your tech skills a little bit, probably.
Virtualization in China.
Oh, what do you know? What do you know?
Interesting.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that. That wasn't even listed in America.
Learn something new every day. That's why they're beating us. So search engine marketing right here in France. So notice this is like globally. This is a job that a lot of people can do. Again, a lot of tech. Germany. You know, India, so on and so forth. Ireland, Netherlands. What do you know? Look at that.
Number 2 job skill. Wow.
That's how that happened. So anyway, and so on and so forth. So this gives you a really good idea of what you want. So if you are interested in getting a job in anywhere else, right? This is going to be the place, the way to do it. So. Going back here, and let me just okay. Woo! Okay, so look for these jobs, the top jobs that employers are looking for. Go to this link; it's right here, and check out that slideshow. And here's the thing: even if you are in a field that doesn't seem relevant, we're going to show you how to acquire some of these skills very, very easily. Because if you have these skills, even if it's not quite related, then the chances of you getting hired are greater if you have these skills that another candidate doesn't. So
and again, we're going to talk about framing your past experience to tie into the ultimate outcome. So we'll talk just a little bit about that.
Next thing, go over the official LinkedIn checklist. Now look at this. They provide this. We provided a link right here. We're also going to include it as a download down below. But if you click on this, we're going to hit OK. Da-da-da. This, let me just beef this up a little bit. That's the official sound of making that. This is the job search checklist LinkedIn provides. It actually gives you everything that you need to know to make your summary and your entire background, totally pop. So make sure that you have all this stuff. And this is stuff that we've already talked about. You know, of course, the photo, the headline, the summary, the experience, education. and the recommended.
And
the
some of
skills
these
and
are some of the, like add at least 5 key skills to your profile. Some of that's a low number there, so you'd want to probably take it from us that you want to fill out all 50 of those skills. So go back to our profile module in module 1, because this is the minimal requirements to kind of get a profile that's going to fly.
Right.
But you're going to want to actually beef it up more.
Now, this particular thing right here, your skills and expertise, this is actually going to be very, very relevant for the next part that I'm going to show you. So make sure that everything in here is relevant. You have any skills in here that are not relevant to...
get rid of them.
Yeah, get rid of them, and it's okay. And if they're not endorsed by people, that's okay too. We'll show you some tricks around that as well.
And if you're afraid to get rid of them, you can always bring them back later.
That's right. That's right. So, of course, location, add your industry and your zip code. Now, this is kind of something that you definitely want to consider if you're looking to get a job in a different area. You may actually want to change the zip code of where you are, simply if you're looking for a job in a specific area. So if you're looking for a job in Palo Alto, change your zip code to Palo Alto. People are much more likely to contact you if you're local.
And you're getting in front of the search engine.
That's
because
right.
the search engine is going to be it's going to start with local zip codes when they start looking for candidates, and then it'll expand outward. But when they expand outward, the competition is going to go even higher and higher and higher the further you get away. So by positioning yourself as being in that local region, you're much, much more likely to get contacted than if you're farther away.
That's right. And we've talked about creating your own custom URL, of course. Make sure that you do that. Click your privacy settings, add your email. This is stuff that we've already covered. We've also, one of the things when you first start your LinkedIn profile is you can import your network. When you import things from Gmail or Outlook, what it does is it scans your entire email inbox and feeds you those people that you may or may not want to connect to. So if there's an ex that you had a bad falling out with, maybe you want to skip that part.
Yeah, because it will send it to everybody, whether they have a LinkedIn account or not. If they don't have a LinkedIn account, it'll send them an invitation to connect with you and to join LinkedIn. So be aware that everybody in your Gmail would get an email if you do that.
So next thing in job search, you sign up to get email alerts about jobs you may be interested in. So they actually will email you directly if there's a job posting that comes available. Find jobs by keyword title. This gets into the job searching. We're going to show you that in a little bit. So this is like the little search box that you're going to use. We're going to show you a more detailed version of that later. Also, make sure that your resume is up to date and you have it available to upload.
And we were just talking, we did a workshop in Camarillo just a couple nights ago, and one of the gentlemen had raised his hands, and
they gave us an award.
We did. We won the Camarillo Library Award.
We won the Camarillo Library.
We won it.
We won it.
So one of the gentlemen had asked, he had sent in, instead of a resume, he had just sent in the PDF of his profile, and that's not a good idea, because the formatting is way off. It just doesn't look professional. So even though we tell you like all these tips and tactics for your profile, that's not what you're sending in for the actual application. You still need to create a resume that goes to the company that you're applying to. Now it can be the same text that comes from your profile, but you need to format it correctly and make sure that it comes across very, very professional, because this is going to the HR managers who make the ultimate decision. You want to please their needs.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, right here, Job Seeker Premium,
which is what we're talking about.
That's right. It goes over some other things like how to send, send an in-mail to people.
So for those of you that don't know, an in-mail is a private message, essentially, or a private mail that can be sent to contacts that are outside of your first degree network. So if you're on a free account, you can only private message people that are in your first degree network. But if they're in second, third, or farther out, you can't message them. But if you have an in-mail, you can. That's a way around it. So,
yeah, and I'll show you how to utilize that, because there's ways to use it and ways not to use it. And the way I used it actually worked very, very well. That's right. It completely worked. And right here, why do you pay the $29? What's the difference? Well, this is it. When you're an HR person, see this little section right here? Well, you will be at the top. It'll be a featured applicant. And they're going to look at this. So you notice, which one would you hire first?
Well, not only that, but it gives you that extra bump over search ranking. So even
I would actually look at the woman first. Like, you know why? I think I would rather hire a woman first.
There you go. However, if you want to just be listed above them,
yeah,
all you have to do is you want to have do what we did in Module 1. Make sure you're keyword optimized. And then if you're paying for the job seeker, it's going to give you another edge up, which will put you to the top. Because very, very likely, a lot of the other candidates that are paying for this are not going to the lengths that you are going by taking this program here.
Now, in just a little, just a tiny showing of how life imitates art, if you notice right up here, this candidate is Steve Andros.
Steve Andors.
Andors, A-N-D-R. Oh, look at that. But I've got dyslexia.
A-N-D-O-R-S.
No, I've got dyslexia. I've got dyslexia.
Like
so no, it's Steve Andros. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then my middle name is actually Lindsay.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
weird.
pretty amazing.
Weird. So I don't know who I'd hire between these two people. I'm stuck. Can you help me? You know what? I'm going to look at this guy first because he paid the $29 and he's a featured applicant.
But how do you spell Lindsay? Is one of the big questions I have for you.
Landsay.
Your middle name, huh?
Yeah, that's my middle name. Andros Theodore Lindsay Sturgeon. Did you know my legal first name is Andros Theodore?
No.
Yeah, well, now you know.
But you learn something new every day.
That's
just
true.
like they are right here by listening to us.
And of course, you get a job seeker badge. You get to see the who's viewed my profile, and we're going to get into that, and that's going to be kind of important.
Yeah, so again, just to come back to the free profile versus the premium, if you have the free account, you can only see the last 5 people that viewed your profile. So by having the premium account, you can see all the people that viewed your profile over the past 30 days. If you have Job Seeker, if you have the Sales Navigator, it goes back to 90 days.
Right.
And with that, like if an HR manager looks at your profile, that's a hot lead, right? So we're going to show you how to see that.
Not only that, by paying the $29, you're also part of the open LinkedIn network, meaning anyone on LinkedIn can contact you about job opportunities for free. So if they're an HR person, they don't have to like in-mail you. They can just contact you, which is really great for an HR person.
Very convenient for them.
Yeah. So anyway, they have a LinkedIn Help Center and free webinars and stuff, but they're not going to be as good as the webinar you're getting right now. I can tell you that. So, all right, there you go. We've got the checklist. Go over that. That's going to be very handy. And then make sure to include your skills.
All 50 of them.
Yeah, and this is very, very important, and I'll show you why in the next part.
Don't skimp on your skills. You need
Right.
all 50 to be filled out because this is another spot where the keywords are getting put into the algorithm, and we want you to have all 50 of those listed.
Now, of course, look over your entire summary in word clouds. Export your profile as a PDF. Put it in wordclouds.com. We got into this in depth in Module 1.
That's right.
And make sure that the skills that you want to get hired for are featured. This is a key thing because the way that your profile will get served to potential job recruiters will be determined based on this one thing.
And let me give you a quick hack here that I think is a great idea. You could take the job description of the job, your ideal job, you put that into word cloud, you see which keywords are big on the job description, and then you focus your profile to make that keyword or those keywords big on your profile too, because then you're really, really getting down to ways of attracting that specific HR type of manager.
And it bears repeating that you can jam that with any experience that you've had with volunteer work or projects that you could pack it. That's up to you. So if you find that like one is not as heavy as another, then just find ways to pack it. So
right.
Now you start looking.
And remember, natural language. Do not just keep repeating your word over and over again because you want to rank for it. It has to be natural language sounding or they will penalize you.
That's
penalize.
Right.
We'll call it penalize.
Penalize. Tomato, tomato.
Continue.
So now just to go over once again, creating your personal brand. Remember we said that your job is to not get voted off the island. So just
I'm pretty sure that I would make it to the finals.
Man, you made it to my finals.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So be authentic. That's the main thing. Like, don't say that you can do something that you can't unless you don't know how to do it and you know you can learn it in 24 hours. That's what we do.
I would. Is that what we do?
Sometimes.
Well, if it's something you can learn, I mean, use your best judgment here. So be authentic, hold your integrity. We want you to be congruent to who you are. But if it's a job skill, if there's just like 1 or 2 job skills that are holding you back from applying for a job, don't be afraid to do it, and don't be afraid to learn it later.
That's right.
I mean, one of my favorite quotes is when a massive opportunity presents itself, say yes and figure it out later.
Yeah, that's actually
it's paraphrased, but it's that's a great quote.
Who said that?
Who said it?
That was Virgin.
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson.
It was. That's right.
Richard Branson said that.
Sir
In
Richard
fact,
Branson.
Richard Branson's whole career was based on that very philosophy. Just like, like say yes and learn how to do it, or hire somebody who knows how to do it. Be creative and with your distinct profile and headline. Make yourself stand out from the crowd.
We've talked about that.
We've talked about that. Avoid cliches. There's lots and lots of cliches out there, folks, and definitely stay away from them. Be visible, stand out by updating your status with projects you're working on, and content. Content creation is the key. You have to be a media creator at this point. In fact, I'm going to show you that ways that you can do that. Become a media creator. That will make your chances much, much higher on finding a job.
It's not the time. In 2017, 2018, it's not the time to be shy anymore.
Nope.
You really need to put yourself out there. If you want to give yourself the edge, you need to put yourself out there. Can you still get hired without being a media company? Yes, but you're just making it harder for yourself.
Right.
It's just I can't urge how important it is to really, really let go of whatever is holding you back from just kind of letting your light shine and just put yourself out there. Let everyone know your value. Speak to it. Speak the truth. You can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good words of advice. Build brand associations, like connect with people and, reach out yourself and make conversations happen. Old colleagues, classmates, look for people that you used to know, see where they are now. See, people know people who know people, and it's all about that several degrees of separation.
And this is even more important than we let on to, but yeah, leverage your connections of life. I mean, if you know people, don't be afraid to call people that you haven't been in touch with for 5 years. This is how it works in the business world. If you want, take advantage of the connections you've made over the course of your life, and start asking for small favors, or not even favors necessarily, but just tell people what you're doing. Offer to do something for them. Offer to make them an introduction, and then see what they can do for you. I mean, if you provide. It's inbound marketing for job seeking.
Yeah.
You provide value up front. You make these people important. Introduce them to people that can help them, and then they will want to reciprocate back to you.
Well said. Well said. So add your knowledge. Define yourself by knowing your industry deeply. Like whatever that is, like really, part of that is creating content that really shows you know what you're talking about.
Get on the blogs, get on the internet, and keep up on the content, because
and then share that content. Like get the content and then share it. When you find something interesting, like just this is relevant, just share it.
As an internet marketing company, I'm on Tech Meme, and I'm on like Blogger, and I'm on all these different media outlets constantly to get the latest content on what's going on in the tech world.
That's right. Share in LinkedIn groups. If you create content, share it in LinkedIn groups. Join a bunch of LinkedIn groups, and it gives you an ability to kind of market yourself. Again, you position yourself as a thought leader in all of this.
Yeah. So LinkedIn groups again. For this. Groups are probably...
they're not as relevant, but it's just shows that you're active.
It keeps you as a thought leader, and again,
you never know who's connected.
You never know who's watching.
Yeah.
You never know who's watching. So by always being your best and always providing the most value, you never know who's watching, because they can refer you to the right person.
Exactly. Be personal. When you send out a connection request to somebody, like, please be personal. Just don't do the stock, like, hey, congratulations, or whatever.
Or, like, recently I got a LinkedIn message from somebody that forgot to take out the mail merge form. So it said, hi, first name, blah, 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 blah. Here's my pitch. So if you ever leave the first name part in there, and it becomes so obvious that you're automating everything you do, it's just a waste of time.
It ruins your credibility.
And it ruins your credibility.
Yeah.
And I'll never go back to that person, ever.
And so be consistent. Make sure that all the pieces of your professional footprint are consistent with the same message. Again, it's part of your story. Like I know the top subjects that I'm always going to post about. I'm going to post about interesting changes in Google search algorithms and Facebook and AI and new tech and sometimes science, like deep learning. I post a lot about the future tech and how it's going to change our culture. But that's part of my whole brand.
And LinkedIn here is the most important, but really this should be across all your social networks too. So, you need to be cognizant of what you're putting on Facebook, what you're putting on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever else you're on, Twitter. You need to make sure that everything is speaking a common language. You don't want one profile I mean, we don't want two things to be totally opposite of each other, because it just sends a bad message. And if somebody's confused because there's multi-messages coming at them, the confused mind does not buy, the confused mind does not hire.
Be congruent with your messaging. And then give generously.
Yes.
This is something that I always find interesting because I've taught a lot of business groups, and I've said, when I hit this point, give your information. Then there's that one person that always raises their hand and say, well, if I'm giving away my information, then why would they hire me? Let me tell you something. Time and time again, I give away every single bit of information I know. I will just give it away to people.
And even again, we're talking to job seekers right now, but I've given so many presentations, and then at the end, I've had somebody like, oh, but I know a great job that would love to hire you. Like, if you want employment opportunities, when you're a speaker and you're getting in front of the right people, people will want to hire you. They are coming to you.
Because you're the expert.
Switching the script on them because you are the expert.
Overwhelm them with information, and they're just like, you know what? There's no way I'm going to be able to do all this because you have the 10,000 hours of expertise, right? Yes. So show that and just say, this is everything I know. Here you go. And people's eyes will roll up in their head and be like, I can never do this. They can't. They're going to hire you. And part of it is they're hiring your personal brand. So bear that all in mind. Now, of course, when I'm getting into content marketing. We've covered this before, but just to reiterate, rule of 7, keep yourself out there. Take 7 interactions before someone makes a decision with you. So if they see your face popping up over and over again, they're like,
pop.
There's that guy. There's that guy with the hat.
I wanted that sound effect.
That was a good.
That was really good.
Yeah,
it actually goes right into the jab, right hook.
You want to explain that a little bit?
So inbound marketing was actually created by our term created by HubSpot, actually. But inbound marketing is essentially the idea of giving value up front and switching the script on everybody from the prior model of advertising, which was disruptive marketing. So the old model was disruptive marketing, which was like your television show was interrupted by commercial ads. Your car drive you're listening to the radio is interrupted by radio ads. And your magazine is filled with these disruptive ads, things that are disrupting what you're doing. Now, instead of disruption model, what we're seeing advertisers provide value up front. Instead of asking right away and disrupting what people are doing, advertisers are now creating incredibly valuable content, which is then attracting people, and in turn, they are wanting more. And when they want more, they're going to go to the people that gave them the content to begin with. And
they're going to go to the source.
It's flipping the script on the old model, and it's making the consumer seek the advertiser because they have the solution to that person's problem.
That's right. Especially if you put it together with the rule of 7. There's that guy again. Oh my God, here's some great advice, right? So there you go. Create compelling images. We live in a day and age where everybody's got a full photo studio in their pocket called their cell phone. Create compelling images, not hard to do.
Canva.com too, and check module 1. We have a video on Canva.
Yeah, and then leverage LinkedIn groups. Just put stuff out there. It's just content. And if you have any questions, of course, you can email us. We'll be happy to answer anything. A lot of the questions that we get, we turn into modules. So if you have a question, someone else does too, and we encourage you to ask those questions. So
we do want to get into some more of the job seeker functionality, which we are going to do on the next video.
So anyway, next up this is going to be the nuts and bolts of how to actually find your job, and we're going to go diving into LinkedIn, and I'm going to show you the actual steps that I took to find a really excellent job in another country. And you can do this too.
And you won't want to miss this. Find out what happens next.